Whoa, what is that?
Do you know what happened?
I know what you're thinking. You're gonna write an article saying Chef Moran suspects foul play and is planning an investigation. Am I right?
Yes.
Well, I'll fill you in. There is no investigation going on right now. If you want a quote from me, say Karl Hein drowns by accident. But I want no word of investigation. Are we clear on that?
You want me to lie?
Alright. Well, there's an investigation. But it's tricky. Could be murder. Could be anything.
Alright, I'll get your direct quote that it was an accident then.
Deal. You got what you want right now?
You want to keep me posted? I still have an article to write, so I think I'm going to need to ask a couple questions.
Fire away.
Go away. I just wanted to...
Go away.
You may be seated.
You say the lights on the Susan Marie, they were all on. Is that right?
Yes, they were. All of them.
When you wanted to start the engine, was there any trouble at all?
Nope, started up right away. No trouble at all, sir.
With all those lights drawing, Sheriff, did that strike you as odd? The engine started right up without any trouble at all?
A little, yes. Because those lights do a lot of drawing. I'd reckon they'd run a battery right down quick. So I have to wonder a little, yes.
Let me ask you something else, if you don't mind. While you were bringing him to Seaston, was there any trouble as you were pulling him in from the water?
Well, he was heavy.
Is it possible then that while bringing him in, you might have hit his head somewhere on the transom of the boat?
Yes, it is possible, I guess. But highly unlikely.
No more questions.
Art, come here. Look at this. You got hit pretty hard with something fairly flat. Reminds me of gun butt wounds I saw in the war. There's a Jap with a bloody gun butt out there somewhere. A right-handed Jap.
Your report, Horace. It states that drowning was the cause of Carl's death. Is there any doubt in your statement?
The report speaks for itself. The presence of foam around the victim's nose and lips indicates beyond a doubt that the victim was alive during the time of submersion.
Beyond a doubt, the victim was alive, Horace. That's very important. Now, if I could draw your attention to page 2, paragraph 2.
Yes, the wound. There was a laceration slightly above the left ear. It was caused by something very narrow and flat.
Now, that's very interesting. Isn't it possible that the victim could have been propelled against such a described object and not necessarily hit by such an object to cause such a wound?
I suppose so.
But you stated that unequivocally the cause of the victim's death was drowning and not being struck by an object.
Yes, but...
Thank you. No more questions.
So, Mrs. Hines, how do you recognize the defendant?
His family used to pick strawberries on my farm. The arrangement was that they were supposed to make payments every 6 months for 8 years. Carl kept the title under his name because the Miyamotos couldn't own land anyways.
Excuse me, Miss Hines, for interrupting. The witness makes reference to a now-defunct statute of the state of Washington which states that an alien or a non-citizen cannot own land. The perpetrators of this joint conspiracy, however, are not among us, so their culpability is not an issue. However, let it be clear that the court does not concern itself with the now-defunct alien land law.
Them Japanese couldn't own land. I don't see why those Miyamotos thought they could own ours.
Mrs. Hines, may I please remind you that Mr. Miyamoto is on trial for murder in the first degree. You will confine yourself, please, to the questions put before you.
So, Mrs. Hines, let's back up a moment here. If the laws, you say, prevented the Miyamotos from ever owning land, then what was the point of the sale agreement?
So they could make payments. The law said that if they were citizens, they could own land. The Miyamoto kids were born here, so I guess they were citizens. When they turned 20, the land would go over to them. The oldest one is sitting right there. In 8 years, he would have been 20. The land would have gone over to them. That was how it was going to be.
In 42?
Yes, in 42. The last payment would have been in December 31st, and he would have turned 20 in November. Then the land would have gone over to him. That's how it was going to be.
Going to be?
They missed the last 2 payments out of 16.
8 days? My God, you have 8 days to evacuate?
It'll be okay. You pick our berries for us. It's all gonna be good.
Is Cabo home?
Yes, he just came home. He's over there. Your boy is very big now. I would like to make a payment today, $120.
Absolutely not. I'm not going to take your life savings at a time like this. No way.
Look, take this $120. Then you pick my strawberries, and $130. Then the next payment is made. Next, maybe after that.
You mean we have to pick your berries and then use this as your payment? $130 on the risk they bring it, and you plus this here as an early payment?
No. Absolutely not. No matter what I'd say.
I'll find a way. I'll pay you. I'll find a way.
They didn't meet their payments, sold the land to Ole Urgensen, sent their equity down to California.
Did you hear from the Miyamotos after that?
That one there. Showed up at my door, July 45.
Mrs. Hyde, do you remember me?
Of course I do. I know what this is about. You want your land back. I already told you in my letter. Carl had passed away and I already sold the place.
Yeah, but my father had an agreement with Mr. Hyde.
Go talk to Ole Jurgensen.
I did, and he didn't know anything about it. He told me to come here.
Well, obviously, what are you expecting me to say to him? My husband made an illegal agreement with you Japs? You don't make your payments. What do you think happens? The bank repossesses your land. I didn't do anything wrong.
You didn't do anything illegal. Wrong is a different matter.
Get out of here.
You sold our land up for honor, so you took it back.
We're enemies, all right. They've been bothering us over those 7 acres for over 10 years now. My son was killed over it. Just a question. If I multiply correctly, the Miyamoto family purchased 7 acres of land from you for $4,500. Is that right? Tried to buy it for that much. Second question. Did you sell Ole Jurgensen each acre of land for $1,000 per acre? I guess that would have made what would have been $4,500 into $7,000, a $2,500 increase in the land's value. Is that your third question? It is. Well, you've done your math right. You too, Mrs. Hyde. No further questions.
Before we adjourn for today, the court takes judicial notice of the fact that tomorrow is the 9th anniversary of the Pearl Harbor attack, which has no relation to this trial. We are now adjourned.
It makes me unhappy to deceive the world. I should be marrying a boy of my own kind, a Japanese boy. My secret life makes me feel like I've betrayed my family in a way that's nothing less than evil.
That's not evil. It's the world that's evil. How can this be evil? Don't pay any attention to it.
This isn't easy. I lie every day to my family. This can't go on. Don't you worry about that?
I know, you're right. There's no answer, it seems.
Did you hear about Pearl Harbor?
Yes. Don't worry about it.
Look at my face. This is the face of people who did it. Don't you see what I mean?
No more. Can't believe this is happening.
It's late. We better go.
No, wait. I don't care about what's happening in the world. I don't want anything to come between us.
Am I correct in saying that the defendant appeared at your doorstep on September 9th? Yes, he asked to speak to my husband. And what was it that Carl said was the content of the conversation between the two?
He said the two of them discussed the land in question, the land that my mother sold to Ole Jurgensen.
And he had recently put down earnest money on the land, is that correct?
Yes, my husband had.
Let's see, Monday was Labor Day. Tuesday, Mr. Jurgensen put his land up for sale. And was it on the 8th that your husband decided to sign the contract with Mr. Jurgensen and purchase the land?
Yes.
All right then. You've testified that the defendant, on the afternoon of the 9th, appeared at your doorstep, met with your husband, they walked and talked, but you do not know the content of the conversation. And your husband mentioned that he had suggested that he may sell the land to Mr. Miyamoto, despite his mother's opposition to selling the land?
Yes.
So in other words, Mr. Miyamoto left your residence on the afternoon of the night, hopeful, with the possibility that he would be able to purchase the land from your husband.
I suppose so.
Oh, hi. Do you need anything? I'm sorry, I've got a cold, but if you need any help, just ask.
I was gonna do a article on the storm that we're having here, so I was wondering if you had any weather records that maybe.
Over there.
Thank you.
So, on the evening of September 7th, your husband returned from a meeting with Ole Jurgensen. Did he seem disappointed in the fact that he had not succeeded in obtaining the 7 acres from him?
No, he was hopeful. Something, he said, had been set in motion about the matter. He had waited many years for this moment to arrive. Now the opportunity was finally here. So the next day, he went to speak to Karl Hein about the 7 acres.
So on September 9th, your husband met with Karl Hein. After the conversation, did your husband return hopeful?
More hopeful than ever. He said that he felt closer to getting the family's land back.
A week after, Karl Hein was found drowned in his fishing net. During that time, did your husband ever mention Karl or obtaining the land in question?
Well, Kabul felt like there was nothing to do, and that the next move would be Karl's. On the morning of the 16th, he came home and he told me he had seen Karl out at sea and helped him with a dead battery in the fog. They had shaken about the matter and come to an agreement. $8,400, $1,000 down.
Mrs. Miyamoto, was I fair just now in saying that your husband's state of mind was terribly excited?
Yes, I will use that phrase, certainly.
So did he seem like himself? Would you say his state of mind was agitated?
Excited, not agitated. He was excited about getting his family's land back.
Okay, so he was excited. Did he ever tell you the story about how he stopped at sea to help Karl, and then Karl later agreed to sell Maul's land?
Yes, he did. That's what happened.
Why didn't you come tell anyone about this? Did this not constitute as news to you?
Well, we heard about how Karl Hein had died a few hours after Kabul came home. Karl's accident. That's what changed how we thought. It meant that there was nothing to tell anyone. Everything was up in the air.
Up in the air? It was more than up in the air. On top of your husband's real estate deal going sour, a man was murdered. And you don't even come forward to tell anyone about this?
We were afraid. It's a mistake to come forward.
I don't know who to trust anymore. Your Honor, I'm done with her.
Wait a
She can step
minute.
down.
That's enough. You'll stop right there. I won't tolerate you giving Mr. Hooks a piece of your mind. You've answered all the questions asked of you. You may step down, Miss Mueller.
Dear Ishmael, these things are very difficult to say. I can't think of anything more painful to me than writing this letter to you. Everything appears to be different from what it was when I was last with you on San Pietro. I don't love you, Ishmael. There's no other way to say it. From the very beginning, when we were little children, it seemed to me that something was wrong. Now everything is clear to me, and I feel I have to tell you the truth. I'm not yours anymore. I wish you the best, Ishmael. Your heart is large, and you are gentle and kind. And I know you will do great things in this world. But now I must say goodbye to you. I'm going to move on with my life as best as I can, and I hope that you will too. Sincerely, Hatsue Imada.
That's all right. I could give you a lift home if you'd like. This car's not going anywhere.
Your newspaper.
Yes, I can see.
The trial. Kabul's trial. It's all unfair. You should talk about that in your newspaper.
What's unfair? What exactly is unfair?
It's all unfair. Kabul didn't mean to kill anyone.
I understand what you mean, but I'm not a legal expert. I could write a column about it, but there's not much I could do about that. So I guess we could just let them take care of what they do best.
There shouldn't even be a trial. It's wrong. The whole thing's wrong.
I'm bothered too when things are unfair, but so many things are unfair that I begin to wonder if unfairness is part of things.
I'm not talking about the entire universe. The judge, the prosecutor, the sheriff, you. Not everybody has to be unfair.
No, it isn't. You're right. People don't have to be unfair.
The sheriff's report, there were a few details I wasn't sure about. So, if you don't mind, do you think you can tell me your side of the story?
You don't trust me, do you? You can't trust the job, can you? There are men who hate me. They hate anyone who looks like a soldier they fought.
The truth. You should tell it before it's too late.
You look stranded.
Yeah, man, you got an extra battery? Stuff.
Yeah. I only have D6s though, they're not gonna fit.
I use D8s. It's alright, I'll make it fit. Come over. Might be a little too big. Oh, perfect. Alright. See you at the docks. See you, man. Hey, look, Abuo.
Yeah.
I think we have something to talk about.
Yeah.
About the land.
Oh, yeah.
I'll sell it to you.
How much?
1,200 an acre.
All 7 acres?
Yeah, 8,400 total. $1,000 down payment?
$1,000 down payment.
Alright, see you at the docks. Mr. Miyamoto, I still can't understand why I didn't come forth with this information before. If you had heard that Carl died, why didn't you tell Sheriff Morton?
You see, I only had a couple hours before. I only had a couple hours to tell Sheriff Moore about what happened.
Well, as you said, you had a couple of hours. Yet you still sailed to Amity Harbor and sent out the ship. That's at least 16 hours. Were you even planning to tell us the truth?
You see, the situation was difficult. Well, when the sheriff came in my boat, I realized he had a search warrant and I was under suspicion for murder. I thought it'd be better to stay silent until I had a lawyer.
And now, you do have a lawyer. You still do not come forth with the truth. So what is this truth? Tell me.
The truth is, as I just told it to you. I met Carl on the seas, I loaned him a D6 battery, we talked about our family, and we agreed that I'd get my 7 acres back.
So it says here that they came in with a search warrant to search your boat, is that correct?
That's correct.
And they also said they found 2 D6 batteries. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So, is that kind of weird? Why would you have 2 D6 batteries if you lent one to Carl?
Well, before I went fishing, I stopped by my shed, to pick up another D6 battery. That explains the second battery.
But you never came forward with this information. Why are you keeping it from us? Mr. Miyamoto, you're a hard man to trust.
Objection! Mr. Hooks, you know better than that. Do you have any real questions for the witness?
Very well. No further questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Hooks is depending on you to act on passions best left to a war of 10 years ago. He is expecting you to make a connection between Mr. Miyamoto and this war. However, Mr. Miyamoto is connected to this war. He is a very decorated first lieutenant of the U.S. Army, and yet he has come home to this. I am an old man, and I am nearing the end of my life. Why do I say this? Because time and time again, I see the same old human frailty. You can only judge a man on what he has done, not who he is. And so, in the name of God, and in the name of humanity, you must set Mr. Miyamoto free. Set him free to his family, as you must. Hey, who's this? Must have dropped it.
Sure, look at this. It says right here that
Upon further evidence revealed by Mr. Chambers, this case is now dismissed. Mr. Miyamoto, you're free to go.
Well, the palpitations of Kabuo Miyamoto's heart were unknowable finally, and Hatsue's heart wasn't noble either, nor was Karl Heinz. The heart of any other, because it had a will, would remain forever mysterious. This accident ruled every corner of the universe, except the chambers of the human heart.
Just flail and laugh like you were doing like when you.
Careful.
Yeah, be careful though.
Where's this going ahead first?
Do you have towels ready?
Yeah, we got it ready. You ready, Leon?
How are running? The recording?
For Lewis.
Yeah. Careful, careful.
Camera's on?
Yeah.
Get out, get out!
Oh no, I can't do it.
I told you can't hold your breath. It's too cold.
Oh god!
Do you have another towel or is that it?
No, we have two.
That's two! Oh, that hurt!
Around you!
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Oh god, that hurt!
We need to get him dry.